do a couple of important rituals. And I'm being told that my microphone is not on. So, if you are on Zoom and you didn't hear me, I said some stuff about the mission and who's doing the service today. I see a lot of visitors today, and I know you're visitors because of that orange name tag. I'm hoping that that orange name tag will also allow some of our regular folks here to know who you are when we get together after the service in the common room to have some cake to celebrate a special occasion today, and also just to get to know each other. And we also want to get to know you if you want to leave some information about yourself on the blue card that's in the seat pocket in front of you. I encourage you to fill that out and give it to the greeters as you leave today, and we'll stay in touch. And whether you're here for the first time or the 1000th, I sincerely hope you get what you need today. We have several beloved community building events coming up this afternoon at 5, something I already alluded to in my muted opening. Again, at 5 o'clock, my family is inviting you and your family, and this including the visitors today. Don't feel like this is only for the folks who are members here. Everyone who is here today is invited to our house for a potluck party to celebrate the beginning of this church year together and the second year of my ministry with you all. I've left a printout of our address at the front desk with the greeters, and I hope you will take a picture of it with your phone and leave it for others to do the same. And since weather seems to be cooperating, we will be able to utilize our whole big yard. So we're looking forward to that. You may have noticed that we didn't have orders of service this morning, and that's because we're moving toward a digital order of service to practice some of our deeply held values. And since moving to a digital order of service necessarily includes using your personal devices, they can stay on during worship. However, you're still encouraged to put them into worship mode. And if you missed a tiny URL or QR code as you came in today, it's tinyurl.com/9112200s, which you can see up on the screen right now. Next Sunday is a favorite service of mine. It happens at many UU congregations around the country. It's our animal blessing service. It's a little earlier this year than usual for a few reasons, but it doesn't change the fact that we can have some fun and invite some of our well-behaved animals to come with you to service next week. This is always a very fun service, though I'm not sure Frank counts any of the attending animals in his attendance count. I'll have to check on that. Finally, and this is really exciting information, I shared a little bit about this last week, but I know more now. We are having a UU the Vote event next week from 2 to 5 on September 17th. It's called the Fall Flex for 4 Million in Georgia. We're trying to reach 4 million voters in Georgia to encourage them to exercise their what we consider a very sacred act of democracy, of voting. And it is confirmed Reverend Susan Frederick Ray will join us via Zoom during that event, which is very exciting. She's the president of the Unitarian Universalist Association. We'll have some speakers from the Georgia Latino Alliance for Human Rights, a couple local speakers, and of course the New Georgia Project, which is kind of co-sponsoring the event. We're kicking this series off. We're going to a couple other places in the state after us, but it should be a great event, catered food, live music. I hope that you'll be able to come and learn how we can really help to move this state toward progress and toward our values. And with that, it's time to fully enter our worship today, to fully enter this moment in our lives where we intentionally shape that which has worth, a shape that is often nebulous, like the flow of water, but it keeps going, it keeps moving. It's powerful yet gentle, smoothing. May we today embody the water that supports our lives and connect ourselves through that ever life-giving element.
Our chalice is a beacon that calls us home. Its bright flame casting its guidance, kindling the flame in our heart as we come together for the fire of commitment, for the passion of our beliefs, the courage of our faith, as we join now in community. Blessed be.
Sing our opening hymn, There's a River Flowing in My Soul, hymn 1007.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my mind. Flowing in my mind.
We have been very blessed over this last year to see new faces, to have new ideas, to have new energies come into our community. Today, we are welcoming those who have taken the final step of actually signing the book over the last year. As I call your name, if you will come down and join me at the front. Matt Moser, who was already working the tech deck. Danny Wright, who has gotten involved in a lot of things. Jim Campanella, who you will often hear playing his guitar in the coffee hour, and Debbie Crane Campanella, who is a stay at our women's luncheons and many other things. We welcome you so much. If you're on Zoom, please, all of our community on Zoom, make sure that you are muted as we go through and say the words of this welcome. It could get a little noisy.
These persons of good faith are before us now to proclaim together their decision to formally become part of this religious community.
And if you
Would
will,
you please say the words on the screen.
I come as a seeker, searching for affirmation. and an ever fuller sense of belonging to this community. I come in solidarity with the active and embodied faith honored here, feeling the importance of this congregation and those who have kept it strong.
Keep going, sorry, there's 2 more slides.
I offer my commitment to this church community, to all its members and friends, and especially to the mission and covenant of our congregation. I offer the energy of my heart, my mind, and my effort that we may all develop in spirit, hope, understanding, and joy, within, among, and beyond.
Now, congregation, would you please read the words that are on the screen before you? There are also 3 of these slides.
Members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Augusta, honor and separate your decision to become part of our shared and responsible search for truth, meaning, and justice, and we greet you with joy. Your presence here will enrich us, and your offering of self encourages us all toward a life of greater wholeness. We covenant with you and with each other and honor our values and church mission throughout our time together with integrity. We understand that in joining with us, our community is forever changed, and we embrace you as part of us here and now. Welcome.
There is one more slide that we're all going to say together, which is okay, because, I mean, there's never enough joy, right? It's like and now, together. Now, therefore, interdependently connected, let us be about the great work we share. Let us create beloved community. Make another joyful noise. You all may be seated. Thank you all so much. I'm so glad you're here. Again, we are going to have some cake to celebrate their now kind of ritualized connection to us once the service ends in the common room. Now is the moment in our service where we pause to look a little bit deeper, maybe go within ourselves a little bit more, to really connect with the flowing nature of our existences. Our blood is flowing through us constantly. It's keeping us alive, keeping us together. And I want you to perhaps imagine that flowingness through you as I say a few words, and then enter a moment of silence. Spirit of life and love, the ultimate and the intimate that connects us all in big and small ways, in many ways, including through our connection through water, one of the base elements of our lives together. We just experienced a moment of joy of recognizing that all of our lives are connected in some way, and sometimes those ways are very plain, in some ways not so plain, but important nonetheless. It's the way that all of our lives and energies combine into something bigger that is truly sacred, something that I offer tremendous reverence to, something that touches my my soul in a deep level perpetually. The flow of a stream, of a river, a creek. Each moment we flow along each moment we impact the world around us. And each moment we embody that which brings us together, love. We bring our full selves, our whole selves, our holy selves together in a way that helps each of us feel even more whole, even more holy. What a blessing it is for us to connect so often, so deeply, as we shape beloved community. Blessed be.
We are deeply connected here through our thoughts and our ideas, through our passion and inspiration, through our emotions, through the love and all of the feelings that we share as we bring our full selves here. We are also connected physically in this wonderful building that shelters us and provides our space. We are also connected on the material level through your generosity, through the sharing of our treasures that go to help us grow and be part here in this world, so that this building may also be a beacon for the wider community. And with that, we ask for you to express your love through your generosity. Our ushers would please come forward. thank all of you for your gifts that sustain our beloved community.
I'm from Peoria, Illinois, one of many U.S. cities referred to as River City. Peoria sits right along the Illinois River, and up until recently, there was this beautiful old steam-powered riverboat that looked like it came right out of a Mark Twain novel, docked near Peoria's downtown. That's it right there, the spirit of Peoria. This portable monument held a very special kind of relationship to the past, a nostalgic thing that Peoria offered as part of its image. There's even an annual 10K charity race there called Steamboat Days that like thousands of people roll into the city to race, actively connecting to this image that Peoria has taken on as part of its identity. The river itself and traveling down it is important to a kind of a pseudo-regional collective identity, an identity that in many ways mirrors what we have here in the CSRA. And with that in mind, I want to use that imagery today to talk about us, talk about how we as a community are traveling down a river of time and experience that we kind of co-create together as we travel along it. We want everyone to feel like they can travel with us, belong with us, that you belong to our perpetually traveling riverboat. I'm going to share a little bit of a story in imagery like I did on Earth Day back in April. Except this story isn't entirely about our relationship with nature. It's about our relationship to each other in the context of a flowing, watery nature. If you want to close your eyes or do whatever that makes you feel comfortable, or just to kind of soak in some of the language, you may. I'll also use my hands to talk a little bit, so you can watch that too. As I entered the river valley, lush with green because of the generous water supply, I saw a classic wooden riverboat gently bobbing at the river dock, dripping with river water and Americana. People seemed to be drawn to it and were openly invited on board. He called to me too, and I too answered the call. I wanted to be on this boat with these folks at this time. I longed to be an integral part of a community constantly in motion, and the timing felt right for me to jump aboard. I ran to the dock and hopped on. It was full of people already, people who had been there for a long time, people who had just jumped on at the last stop. A few more people came on with me, all bringing their unique character to this shared ride. Each character I met made me feel right at home as I began my journey with them. It felt powerful. It felt really cool, honestly. And then somehow it never felt crowded. There was always room for more. Always a sense of curiosity about who might join next and how that might alter our path together. It felt like I was deeply connected to something in the past while also deeply connecting with something here in this moment, in the present. Even on a boat that was wont to sway in the water this felt stable. It felt whole and ready for more wholeness. And it was time to travel to our next destination downriver. As they began to churn, I marveled at the large white and red paddles that propelled the boat forward, human-made tools that helped humans along, stirring the water and my soul. And as we left the dock, I started hearing that rhythmic, almost hum of those paddles going through the water. Hearing the splashing of the water, powered by the water itself in its steam form. Again, it felt very magically connected. There's earth kind of integrating with water, wood and water playing together, wood from trees that lived long ago on this boat built long ago, now moving us forward, connecting us to wherever we are, where we were, where we will be. And once we get going, we make frequent stops. We make frequent stops along the way to allow more people to jump on, join us on our trip. A genuine sense of excitement every time we welcomed a new passenger. We even stopped at this one town with no dock. People had to wade through the mud and the muck and climb up a ladder along the side, which we threw down to help them up. Now, they brought a little bit of that mud muck from their lives on to the boat. No worries. This fit in with the classic, aged, well-lived feel of the experience. We weren't looking for a pristine deck. We were on water after all. Things were bound to get messy. We were just happy to have some more folks aboard and some bits and pieces of their travels joining us as well, with the mud on the creaky floor separating us from the more dangerous aspects of the water. And the existing travelers were more than happy to help our new folks dry off if that's what they wanted. We continued down the river. It started winding a little bit as it inevitably headed to a bigger body of water, expanding, connecting us to something even bigger than just this boat and this smaller river. And eventually, we hit the Grand Mississippi, one of the most expansive and powerful rivers in the world. Once again, we're connected to something ancient, present, huge in some parts, small in some parts, yet nevertheless full of power, full of beauty, full of nature. That river and the boat that we all hop on to travel down together, sometimes feeling overwhelming, but we were overwhelmed together. Of course, as we entered larger, unknown bodies of water, our journey got more perilous. We all took on more risk. We even hit some pretty nasty storms, some that we weathered easily, some that left scars on our shared whole. Sometimes people chose to leave the boat. Sometimes folks didn't have a choice but left the boat, left our journey nevertheless. Each of those moments, a moment of grief and joy for the times that we did travel together. Whatever river we're on, it's something that we don't have a whole lot of control over. The river's going to be there. It's going to move. The land's going to be there to surround the river. Sometimes we all just need to go with the flow, scary as it may be. And we get, each one of us, on this ship, to steer the ship as we move along, one by one and together. We're all given the opportunity to be captains for a time, co-captains, learning to move forward with love despite any unforeseen obstacles that cross our path. Of course, people who have a lot of extra experience wisely mention to watch out for where there might be some shallow water, how to avoid some known challenges, where they say, watch out for those low-hanging tree branches that might damage our sacred vehicle, or worse yet, hit some of us and knock us off. There's wisdom aboard with experience. There's wisdom coming on board from the people who are joining us now, who know the unique obstacles of this part of the journey. There's also the opportunity for new wisdom to emerge along with our new shared experiences, new connections to be made, new wisdom to emerge from beneath the surface. All of us, crew of passengers, getting to know each other on the boat, feeling more and more love as we act with more and more love, experiencing the connections deeply, journeying along this liquid life route together. I am so happy and honored and joyful to get to travel along this winding river of belonging with my new friends, with you all. Blessed be. Your mic is off.
Okay.
Let us now celebrate another new beginning, another stop along our journey together, and celebrate the connection with our ancestors and our sacred connection to this blue boat home with our water ceremony.
We speak about the interdependent web of existence of which we are a part. We shall pause to recognize and celebrate one of the most basic elements of this interdependent web, water.
Water has been an important symbol throughout human history simply because it points to a fundamental truth. Without water, there is no life.
From the oceans of the earth, we bring these waters. They have been to the depths of the earth and crashed with the surf on countless beaches.
From the rivers of the earth, we bring these waters. They have flowed swiftly and endlessly from the beginning of time.
From the lakes of the earth, we bring these waters to mingle. Their still beauty reflects the sky.
From the springs and streams whose waters renew the rivers, oceans, and lakes, we bring these waters. Emerging from the earth in the hills and mountains, they give promise of new energy, new life.
From the rain and the snow, these waters come to quench the thirst of all living things.
from the Muskogee Creek, Westo, Yamasee, Uchi, and all First Nations peoples, who for millennia have been stewards of these sacred lands and her waters.
We now invite you to start coming forward around the back here and kind of up the center here to pour your life-giving water into this shared bowl as a symbol of the water flowing through your own stories, flowing through this land, enriching your life, our lives, connecting you all to life on this planet, connecting each of our individual stories into a shared story of stories. And as you pour the water into the bowl, I invite you to recite these words. From the street on which you live to this water of waters, this story of stories. For example, from Ridgewood Drive to this water of waters, this story of stories.
We are now in a hybrid world. For those of you joining us via Zoom, you will have a chance to share also, and we will pour water for you.
Similarly, if you did not bring water today, fret not. We have water for you here from last year's water communion that also has water from previous year's water communion, connecting us even more to the past. If you haven't already done so, please continue around here. It might be best if we kind of swing around the back there, but it's going to form how it forms. Water's going to do what it's going to do. If there are any folks seated elsewhere in the building, you can come through too. I believe some of our greeters will invite you to come in, and we'll let you know when to join. And now with that, may the water communion continue. And we'll go ahead and put the words up for you so you don't forget. Now we'll invite each person on Zoom to say their little bit of this as I pour water for them. And I'll call on you. If you don't answer right away, it's okay. I'll just move on to the next person. But it looks like Marika has her name up. Go ahead, Marika. Unmute yourself.
From Lake Titicaca in Peru to these waters of water and this story of stories. Thank you.
Marilyn? Jean? Ted, would you unmute yourself if you'd like? Don and Betty, would you like to unmute yourself and Ed McCraney, would you like to unmute yourself? John Black, would you like to unmute yourself? Cheryl Martin, would you like to unmute yourself?
Yes. From Quartz Way to this water of waters, to the story of stories.
Linda McBurney. iPad.
From the crossroads of Brynwood, this water of water, this story of stories.
Bless this well of combined waters. May it continue to offer us life throughout the year and beyond. May we continue to offer life to each other throughout the year and beyond. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue home. here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful new boat I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds surging me on. Breathe the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my new boat. You stay sitting or seated, if whatever is more comfortable for you. Share some closing words with you. And before I share the closing words, I'd love to have the camera pan one more time, just to so folks at home can see friends and community. We do indeed have a full house today, both here in the space and on our virtual world. It starts with a drop and a trickle, a burble, a rush of water bubbling towards its destination, and finally the wide, endless sea. All rivers run to the sea. Today you brought water, poured it into a common bowl. Though our experiences have differed, these waters mingle, signifying our common humanity. Today you came and shared in this sacred community. May you depart with hearts filled with hope and great expectations for new beginnings, a fresh start. Go forth, but return to this community where rivers of tears may be shed, where dry souls are watered, where your joy bubbles, where your cup runneth over, where deep in your heart you have found in this place a home. All rivers run to the sea.